Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jen Sugarmeyer, your host of Mindset in the Morning, and I am back here in Dallas, Texas. Yes, I was in South Carolina the last couple of days, and it is wonderful to be home. I think mostly to see my baby girl. I always love being greeted when I come home, and she's there at the door waiting for me. I have a little cat. Her name is Booger. So back in Dallas, and I feel that there's a bit more of a flow here. This is what I know. This is what I'm comfortable with. And it's good to know yourself at that level when you understand when you're in flow and how to find that. So this for me is my flow, sitting in this chair with my microphone and all of my creature comforts. So this week we've been talking about, I was inspired by a movie, Shrek, that I watched earlier this week. Maybe you're familiar with it. It's only been around for like 21 years, and I've watched it maybe 50 times. And there were things as I was going through the movie, and I thought, oh, these are really good to talk about on the show. And this is Mindset in the Morning, where we get together 5 days a week at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, but it's YouTube, so you can watch whenever. And we talk about all things mindset, and mindset that's relevant, not woo woo, pie in the sky, just tips and tricks and tools that you already have. And we talk about situations so that when you go out in the world, that you're prepared to bob and weave as things come up. Suffering is created in the mind. And if we understand how to navigate around it, then we can have this beautiful life. And that's what this is all about, because we all want to have the best life that we can. I've yet to meet someone who says, yeah, I'd kind of like a crappy life. Yeah, I like it when it sucks in my world. No, we all want the best life. And so that is what we are aiming for. And I want you to really connect to your powerhouse, and your powerhouse is you, and become the most powerful version of yourself. And so we think about things and walk out the door and say, you know what? I'm going to think about that today and put that into motion. So I was going to talk about all things Shrek this week, or I was going to get inspired by Shrek, but I got a call from a girlfriend last night. And I also saw this meme on Facebook, and I said, okay, that's enough to talk about. When do we walk away? Because sometimes it can be hard. And how do you know? And I saw someone on Facebook last night, they posted this thing. I guess Dolly Parton said it. And it said, we don't walk away to teach people a lesson. We walk away because we finally learned ours. And I thought, oh, that's really good. And it is tough when you walk away from people. And we're going to generalize this. I don't want to just talk about people or relationships. I want to talk about your job. You can put in context whatever you want, but your job, if you're starting a business, or if you're starting a hobby, whatever that may be, just fill in the blanks, just walk away, because there are things that we have in our life. And I know I have a ton of things that are going on, and I don't know if those are all things that I can keep up. I'm sure that at some point there are things that I'll pivot or modify, or I'll have teams that manage certain things, and I'll need to step away and allow people to manage those. And so there's always changing and modifying that we're doing in our world. So how do we know when it's time to walk away? So inspired by my friend, and also that Dolly Parton post. So how do you know? How do you know when it's time? And I think sometimes we stay in situations for much longer than we need to. I mean, I know I've stayed in a couple jobs where, I've started having that, I think maybe I hate this job. No, I definitely hate this job. I'm resentful, but I keep going into work. I keep showing up into work, and I hate it. And there's definitely one that comes to mind, and it's real strong. And I knew that I wanted to leave. And it was funny because my position had been eliminated, and I had gone out to lunch with some recruiter friends of mine that day. And I was saying, and I had a couple of conversations with recruiter friends in the past. And I said, look, this job just sucks. Like I need to do something different. And I kept talking. I kept saying that, yeah, I need a change. I know I need a change. And yet I kept coming into work. I kept doing my job, but and I know I knew at the time, and I know looking back, that I wasn't giving my full energy. I wasn't excited about the place. I mean, my energy in terms of how much I was bringing to the table. And also, I wasn't as positive as I once was. There were a lot of changes that were happening with this company. And so all of a sudden, here I am, and, I'm like, oh, got to go into work, or I have to go into work. I felt forced. I didn't like it. And then all of a sudden, I come back from lunch with my friends, and I got pulled in to my boss's office, and HR was in there. And I was a little naive. I remember I said, "Oh, do you need a minute?" "Oh, wait, no. Okay, never mind. I got it." Because I saw HR, and I said, "Oh, did you need me in here?" "Oh, do you need a minute?" Because I saw that HR was there. And he said, "No, no, come on in." And, and I needed that to happen. In fact, that was one of those that it was just this huge weight off my shoulder. I remember they allowed me to go back to my desk, and I sent my final messages. In fact, I had half of a day there. And whereas, I think a lot of companies, they just walk you out. I went and, got some projects that I was working on, and I sent them to other people. And I said, "Look, here's all the work that I've done. Keep it going." I liked the job. I liked the company, but I knew it was my time to go. And yet I wasn't proactively doing anything. And so what happened in that is that I just started to have this immense weight that kept piling on me and piling on me, because negativity is a downward slope, and you put a little bit of negativity, and then it becomes a little more and a little more and a little more and a little more. And all of a sudden you have a bunch of rocks, bunch of bricks right on top of you. You can barely breathe. It doesn't feel good. You don't like where you are, but that's what negativity does. It starts out as just a little bit, and then it escalates into something else. Now, positivity is the same way. You have a little bit of positivity, and if you can keep that negativity away, then that will, and you focus on your positivity, then that will grow and it becomes beautiful. And that's where we're aiming to be. But we have to be careful with this negativity when it starts to come up. So how do you know when it is time to walk away? Because I definitely needed to walk away. It wasn't, it's not fair. I was reading some statistics, and the University of Warwick, I think it was, when you have a happy employee, you are 12% more productive. When you have an unhappy employee, you are 10% less productive. So yeah, I probably agree with that. I was probably at least 10% less productive, because I was just like, whatever, I hate being here, dragging my feet. I didn't have this, oh, let's do all the things, and this energy and this excitement for work. So it was time. And 10% less productive versus 12% more. I mean, could you imagine if our companies invested more in our mindset and help to elevate its employees to a better state of mind? You could increase productivity across the company by 12%. I mean, that every company is sitting around every single year. How do we get more with less? And, how do we make more revenue? And how do we beat our numbers from last year? I don't know, just invest in your employees. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But there is a correlation between how happy you are and your productivity at work. So, few things to look out for. Are you growing? We always should be growing in relationships, in what we spend our time in, whatever that may be. And if you find that you are truly not growing anymore, then it may be time to consider making a move. And that's only something that you can determine. And maybe it does. Maybe you need to have a conversation with somebody, and whether that's a counselor or a coach or a mentor or a close friend that you highly respect. I will just err on the side of caution when talking with friends. I would find someone that has a proven record of a solid mindset. Sometimes it's easy for us to ask the people that we want the right answer. So if we want to hear no, we go to certain people. And if we want to hear yes, we go to certain people. It's kind of like that whole mom and dad thing growing up. You're like, if I want money, I go to this one. And if I want, to stay out later, then I go to this one or whatever it may be. And so sometimes we just know the answers that we want to hear. How about you assess based off of their mindset and their, knowledge and experience and things like that? What I've seen very often is that people will surround themselves with people that are, we always want to feel good. And so that's why a lot of times when you'll see alcoholics hanging out with other alcoholics or drug addicts hanging out with other drug addicts, or you'll find that people that gossip hang out with other people that gossip, or, there is, you almost have like for like. So be careful when you're talking. Yes, talk to your best friend, but also consider talking with a mentor or someone else that may not be so close to the situation, and bounce some of these ideas off of. And don't feel that having a coach in your life means, oh, I have therapy, all these problems. No, it's literally helping to talk you through the situation. Every coach, their objective is for that person to achieve their goals, whether it's a sports coach or a life coach, whatever it is, it's to help you get your goals. So consider that as well. So are you growing in the situation? That's something to ask yourself. Or have you just kind of plateaued and you're in this thing, you're doing the thing, you're not, advancing yourself at all, and you're just going through these motions and you feel like you've been here for a while, hum de hum de hum. That's where you're at. So ask yourself that. Do you find that you're bored? Are you a little bored? With these states of suffering, stress, fear, frustration, anger, resentment, anxiety, boredom, embarrassment. We talk about these all the time. If you are in any of these, then that is telling you something. That's saying, look under the hood and take a deeper look. Is something else going on? Now, it may be that you need to do some internal work. It may be that the situation is truly boring and you've expired your time. So again, ask yourself, am I growing? And if you're growing and you're still bored, okay, then you look at that. If you're not growing and you're bored, okay, then maybe that's telling you something different. Maybe it's mindset work you need to do in that first, if you are bored and you're growing, maybe it's just mindset work you need to do. So assess, we're going to go through a whole list of these, assess all of these. So if you're bored, look under the hood. What does that mean? Or it might not be the right fit for you at all. You might say, you know what? I thought I wanted to do this in my life, but this is like, I can't do this for another 5 minutes without having anxiety or just resentment. I mean, I hate this. So I don't know what it is for you, but look at those states of suffering. So look at boredom. Look at if you're frustrated. Why are you frustrated? Now, sometimes we get frustrated when we're growing. Why? Because when you're growing, there's a level of discomfort that comes with it. And we know that. We know that it can be uncomfortable. But if you're frustrated and it doesn't seem like the right fit, then maybe it's not the right fit. So again, only you can decide this for yourself. But remember, your brain is going to do everything to keep you safe. So it's going to say, we don't know what's on that side, but we know back here, we know. And even if that's not the better option for you, we still know it. So your brain's always going to do that. So you got to be careful. What is your brain telling you? So if it's just telling you to turn around because you're frustrated, just give up. Or it may be telling you something more. So you've got to really assess, am I growing? And that's why I'm frustrated? Or am I frustrated because I know I have more potential and I'm bored in this job and, it's not challenging me. I'm not growing anymore. That's why you got to look at all these. Have you done the mindset work? So we talk about mindset every single morning. We talk about the power of choice. The glass is half full and half empty. You get to choose which one it is for you. And so, have you done the mindset work? Choice. Have you looked at control? Have you looked at failure? Have you looked at some of the powerful topics that we bring up every single day? Do you know that we just talked about one going through growth and it's uncomfortable? Could that be maybe what it is? But have you done the mindset work to really wrap your head, to find the gratitude, to find the silver linings, to, make this thing work in your life? Because sometimes, because when we go through growth, it feels uncomfortable, sometimes we mistake that for other things. So you got to be really careful when you are growing that our brains aren't telling us that it's something else. Our brains can be so sneaky. So watch out and see, have you done the mindset work around what it is that, this relationship or this business or your job or whatever it is that you're doing? Get quiet, get quiet and hear what's being said, what's being, what your gut says. Your gut is going to tell you so much. So get quiet, listen to your gut, pray about it to whatever higher power you believe in. Doesn't matter, but get quiet and say, does this fit in my life? And look a couple of years out and say, is this what you want to be doing? So when you're quiet, close your eyes and imagine what your life looks like in 5 years. Can you imagine it with that person? Can you imagine it without that person? And go through different scenarios to see what that looks like. One thing that I love, and I was telling my girlfriend this last night, I said, it's not no, it's just not now. And sometimes we make a split. We say, you know what? It's not no, but it's just right now, this isn't the right fit. So with people, I know that some people I've had to say, I'm sorry, it's just not the right time. But maybe when, maybe there'll be a time where our paths align and we have similar mindset and we're on the same pages. But like groups of girlfriends that, I used to hang out with that gossip, that's not me anymore. And I don't want to be around that. I learned my lesson, like Dolly Parton said. So it's not to teach them a lesson, it's because I learned mine. I had to walk away. So think about, as you are moving away, remind yourself that it's not no, it's just not now. And then also be mindful not to burn bridges if you do decide to make a move, because we want to keep these doors, we want to keep the energy positive. And maybe there is a door that you want to keep open. Maybe it's a toxic situation in a relationship and there's, abuse, and that door needs to truly be closed. Only you can assess, but look at, have you done the mindset work around it? What, suffering do you have around the situation? Are you growing through it? And get quiet and see what it looks like in your life, not just today, but in the future as well. So think about this as you go out into the day. Are there things that you truly feel that maybe it's time to cut bait? Or maybe do you need to try a little bit harder with some things? So I don't know what that might look like for you, but I'd encourage you to get quiet and think about some of these things so that we're not in a state of suffering, so that we are moving towards that ideal, beautiful state of peace, clarity, and flow. That's what we all want. So that's it for today. I would appreciate if you would hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you know someone that would benefit from this, please share it with them. So we'll be back here, same time, same place tomorrow. I love you. Have a wonderful and a beautiful day, and go be that powerful being that you and I both